for medium-class budgets. Finally, after competitive proposals were evaluated, New Horizons, which teamed Alan Stern with the Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Laboratory, APL, and several other institutions across the country, was selected by NASA on November 29, 2001. Now, plans on paper became metal in clean rooms. In 2004, lead scientist Alan Stern described the mission's key science objective.
Yeah. Well, you know, the key to planetary science is that you really have to go places to get the resolution, to get up close enough to really see what's going on. We want to get up close and personal.
The very best resolution of current telescopes looking at Pluto would give this kind of fuzzy image of a much more familiar world. But here's what New Horizons would see if flying over New York City. Lakes in Central Park, wharves on the Hudson River.
New Horizons is the first really of a whole new breed of spacecraft that is focusing on a very specific task.
For this first mission to Pluto, the questions are basic. What do Pluto and Charon look like? What are they made of? How do their atmospheres behave?
We had to really be disciplined and say, we can't do everything. Let's focus on the primary questions and design the instruments to answer those primary questions.
The long-range imager, LORRI, will be used for navigation approaching Pluto and close-up views during the flyby. The wide-angle camera, RALPH, has both visible light and infrared sensors to map Pluto and Charon and characterize their icy surfaces. There are two fields and particles detectors to probe the solar wind at Pluto. The large radio antenna is an essential communications device, but both REX and ALICE, an ultraviolet imaging spectrometer, are part of experiments to analyze Pluto's atmosphere. And there's the Venetia Burney Student Dust Counter, built by undergrads at UC Boulder, and honoring the schoolgirl who named Pluto back in 1930. Together, the 7 science instruments comprise the most powerful set of detectors ever sent on a first flyby of any world in our solar system. But their innovative and highly miniaturized design means that even when all are operating, they draw less power than half a 60-watt bulb, and they're intended to work together seamlessly. After building comes testing, but always with an eye on the clock and the calendar.
It's very, very important that we launch in either 2006 or 2007. We have to make that deadline.
If you want to fly to Pluto on the quickest route, you need Jupiter in position. And that means we have to launch in January of 2006. It feels a little bit like being strapped to a train going 500 miles an hour.
The test program involves teams of engineers at Johns Hopkins APL and then at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center.
Once we launch this, we can't go after it with a screwdriver. We can't go fix anything that isn't working.
We make sure that we carry plenty of spare equipment on board the spacecraft. If our main computer breaks, we have a backup. If our main transmitter breaks, we have a backup.
One of the things we do is we put the whole spacecraft on a gigantic vibration table, a paint shaker, and shake it. And then test it after that, and shake it again and test it again. So that's what we're doing from now until launch.
Along with testing the spacecraft, New Horizons needs to train and test its human operators. And for a mission planned to reach Pluto in 2015, it's important to have young people on board early. So they'll be around. Many of the faces you see around Mission Control in 2004 and 2005 are young and enthusiastic spacecraft engineers.
Normally we're focused.
I don't know, somewhere in my 40s.
Oh, and you're a youngster.
Yes.
In late 2005, the action shifts to Cape Canaveral. New Horizons may be light and relatively small, but launching it to Pluto requires America's most powerful rocket, the Atlas V. New Horizons will be traveling so far from the sun that solar panels wouldn't be sufficient. So the Department of Energy delivered an RTG that would power the Pluto mission by turning heat from the radioactive decay of plutonium into electricity. Working round the clock, they arrive at Pad 41 before dawn. On behalf of NASA and the entire New Horizons team, Stern wanted to be the last to bid the spacecraft bon voyage before closing up the hatch. On January 19, 2006, after 17 years of planning, building, and testing, a picture-perfect launch that thrilled onlookers in Florida and the mission operations team back at Johns Hopkins in Maryland.
We have ignition and liftoff of NASA's New Horizons spacecraft on a decade-long voyage to visit the planet Pluto and then beyond.
Despite immense technical and timetable challenges, the mission had made its window and was on its way. New Horizons' velocity at launch was the fastest ever, traveling almost 60 times faster than a jetliner. In just 9 hours, it passed the orbit of the Moon. Apollo had taken almost 10 times that long. 1 year later, a slingshot gravity assist from the giant planet Jupiter provided another 2 kilometers per second boost, cutting travel time to Pluto by 3 full years. But this was more than just a jump in speed. The Jupiter flyby was a scientific dress rehearsal for Pluto. New Horizons instruments returned detailed images of Jupiter's clouds, moons, and rings.
We got the night shine. Oh, wow, look at that.
Then it was off across the empty ocean of space, with no new land in sight till Pluto in 2015. The spacecraft had been tested and passed with flying colors. Now it was time to test the humans. Earth-received times would be identical to those for the real encounter in 2015. Mission managers wanted scientists and engineers to experience the stress of time-critical 24/7 operations expected for July 2015.
We're flying by an object that is a huge distance